Hello, good evening and welcome back to yet another YouTube live from Hitbullseye. So today I have come up with yet another relevant topic from CUET point of view, which is RCs, that is reading comprehension. So you must be aware that there will be 3 RCs in your paper and from which you will get 6 questions each, which means 18 questions. And trust me, if we look at the previous year paper, the questions were relatively direct and factual, fact-based. The given facts in the passage were enough for you to answer those questions. So today I have picked quite the similar kind of questions for this live. I hope you see those questions and try to answer as much as you can. Yes, hello everyone. Hello, good evening, Deepal and Ryu. Good evening everyone. So yesterday we did analogy. Let's see how you will perform with the reading comprehension. See, these 18 questions, if they are fact-based, if the questions are not critical reasoning type, trust me, you can easily score these 18 marks, I would say. So before starting the session and the practice exercise, let me quickly brief you how should you approach a passage. So you are very well aware that each and every kind of question, be it the grammar question, vocabulary question or the reading comprehension question, the approach is different. In the vocabulary question or one word substitution or idiom phrases, the luck will not be with us every time, right? There would be 1 or 2 questions that we are seeing for the first time, any such idiom or phrase or one word substitution. But RCs is something wherein the whole context is given to you. It's just that you have to attentively read it, understand the subject area first of all. Where has this passage been picked from? Okay, it's a literary kind of a passage. Or is it a informative kind of passage wherein author is simply giving you information? Is it a narrative passage where it's telling you a story? And if it's a critical kind of a passage, then you have to pay attention. What is he criticizing there? How strongly is he criticizing it? Right, so these things help you to find out the right answers. So in total, there can be these 6 to 7 types of question based on the RC. Only these 6 to 7 types. It's just that the language might be difficult, the language of the question. So the first one is title based. Title is that you can say the combination of word or a small phrase which will introduce you to the topic that we are going to talk about in the whole RC. So try to go with one such option which will justify the whole passage. In a passage, every author, he promotes something or let's say he simply talk about something. Rest of the facts and the stories and the example that he gives is to further reinforce that idea, right? So that idea, if you can write it in 2 to 3 words, that will be your title. So it should justify the whole passage. Second important question is main idea of the passage. Main idea is also quite similar to title. It's just that main idea is much more elaborated. It describes you even further. For example, the title is increasing population in India. So we simply know increasing population in India, we are going to read about it. But do we know what are we going to read or do we know what the author wants to convince us for? The main idea will tell you that. So the author's tone or the author's idea. So main idea, this is the type and there can be different types of question as in what is the primary purpose of the passage? What is the main idea? What is the major concern of the passage? When you get these type of question, simply understand that you have to talk about that one idea which is reflected throughout the passage and rest all the example and facts that he is giving, he is simply giving it to reinforce that main idea of the passage. So don't get nervous when you don't exactly see this term, but you can very well understand that okay, they are asking the main idea only if they ask you the primary concern or if they ask you what does the author convey here through this passage. All these type of questions. Third is fact-based questions, which are the direct question. And in the last year's paper, we did see a lot of factual question. So there were 3 types of question. One is the simple question which you have to answer. Second was fill in the blanks type of question. They would pick a phrase or a sentence from the passage and leave a part of it. And you have to identify the right part to fit there in that blank from the given options. And the third type was match the following, wherein 4 phrases were given in first column, 4 in the second column. You simply had to match them and complete the sentence. So by this they were checking your grammar also. The grammatical sense of the sentence after matching, it shouldn't be distorted. Same as for the fill in the blank. Right, so these were mostly fact-based questions, the answer of which you can easily trace in the passage itself. The fourth type of question were tone questions. What is the tone of the passage? So it's very simple. Before looking at the option, simply understand it yourself within the first reading. Is he praising something here, or is he criticizing something here? And the third one is he being neutral and simply giving the third person point of view? So he is giving the arguments also, counter arguments also. So his stand is a neutral one. This is the first step we have to follow. Now second step, try the elimination method. Identifying if the tone is negative, positive or neutral is relatively easy, but the option choices and the vocabulary that they would use might get a little bit tricky. Even today I have a tone question. Let's see if you'll be able to answer that. So let me quickly tell you some of the tones. So if it's a positive tone, it may be laudatory. Laud is the root word. You must have heard of applauds. So when you praise something, it is a laudatory tone. If you're criticizing something, then write down some of the important words. Aggressive tone, criticizing tone, acerbic tone, acerbic, acidic. Acidic means again bitter, sharp, pungent tone, bygoniant tone, and the other words can be belligerent tone, bellicose tone. These are all synonyms of the word aggressive itself. So don't get confused. If you will Google some of the most important tones, you will find this vocabulary there. Then the third category we can keep the words which, the tones which have some kind of ridicule or humor or mockery in them. Like humorous tone, second is satire, third is sarcasm. So sarcasm is a light-hearted mocking of something, making fun of something, joking about something, ridiculing something. But satire is a little bit more serious. When a person writes in satire, as in what he wants to say, he would say the opposite of that, just to taunt the vices of the society. He will always have a perspective. Either he wants to see some political change or some social change. So there is a purpose behind satire. So these were some of the tones which includes a lot of humor. Then there is irony. Irony is incongruity between what is being said and what the reality is. So if, for example, you must have all watched Ramayana, right? So we as the reader or the audience, we already know who has taken Sita. But Ram doesn't know that. So we know that it's an irony that he doesn't know it, and we already know it what is going to happen. So that is irony. So these are some of the tones. Let me tell you some more names. If you see the word didactic, didactic means informative. The author is simply giving you a lot of information there. If it is pedantic, then he is fussy about the detail and he's promoting something from his passage, so much so that he won't accept anything else. So that will be pedantic. So I hope you have your pens and notebooks with you and writing down these words. So if you believe it was too fast, you may pause the video and rewind it and write down these words and try to find out some more from your side also. So it can be tone-based question. Okay, so the fifth one can be critical reasoning type of question. Now, these are not the factual question. For the critical reasoning question, and the sixth one is inference. And for the inference question, you will always have to understand the main idea of the passage. After reading the complete passage, simply think, how can I justify it in one or two statements? After the main idea, you will see questions like, which of the following option strengthens author's argument or author's belief? Now for that you need to know the author's belief, only then you will be able to choose one such option. Which of the following undermines or challenges author's belief? Again, you need to know the author's belief. What is this author's belief? It's the main idea basically. Inference question. Inference, you can say, is a kind of hidden conclusion. So one conclusion will be given to you clearly, you can say, seen there in the passage or shown there in the passage, but inference is a hidden conclusion that you have to conclude on the basis of your understanding. To give you an example, if I say India is a developing country and it has this problem of poverty and unemployment, and then I conclude it saying it is going to have problem of poverty and unemployment even in the future. I've given you conclusion also. What can we infer on the basis of this? We can infer that I want to convey that India will be a developing country even in the future. So these are known as inferences. When I tell you a story, I give you some examples, I show you an image and I ask you, what meaning did you draw from it, or what conclusion did you deduce from it? That will be your inference. That is based upon you. So clearly, for inference and conclusion, you won't find like one line in the passage. You'll have to think a little bit, logically understand the passage. So these were the types, and now we know how to approach it. Always approach a passage in a very structured way. Divide it into 3 parts. For example, there are 3 paragraphs in the passage. Understand it. Where is he starting it from? And where is he concluding it? Is he talking about the same thing in the introduction and the conclusion? There you will find your main idea of the passage. Then the remaining passages, are they simply giving you a lot of examples? So I will saying all this, again I know it's a little vague to understand. That is the reason we have included practice exercise also. So I will show you how to approach a passage with an actual passage. Quite a similar one as you will see in the exam. So this is the passage. I am gonna get aside. I will give you some time. You can take a screenshot of it and then I'll quickly summarize this for you. Yes, hello Aryan. Hello Abhijit. I hope you people are all ready to answer all the questions. Take a screenshot of this one and then I'll quickly summarize the whole passage. Yes, Aryan, you're absolutely right. The question types will be different. So those were the 6 broad categories. The language may differ, but more or less they will be revolving around the same thing. Chalo, let's quickly read this passage and understand what is the author saying here. The next most important source of indoor air pollution is allergens. So can you see these 2 important phrases? Indoor air pollution he is going to discuss, and the allergen. The insects, you can say the germs or the things that cause that allergy or air pollution. House dust mites are very small insect not visible to the naked eye and commonest source of allergy in the house. They are ubiquitous. Look at the vocabulary. Ubiquitous is present at all the places at the same time. For example, omnipresent, present everywhere. So it's quite similar. And thrive in warm and moist atmosphere. They breed very fast and are very difficult to eradicate. So modern houses present ample breeding spaces. Now he will give you different kind of example ki where all you can find the house dust mites. So when I said about structuring, this is the first paragraph which is going to talk about all those places where you can find the house dust mites. For example, in the mattresses, in the curtains, in the pillow. Exposure to HDM can be prevented by frequent washing of linen and by encasing mattresses and pillows. So pets form. Now look at this. First he talked about the linen and the pillow and the mattress. Now he's talking about the pets. Pets also form an important part of our life. They can be the carriers of the allergens. Was it difficult at all? We summarized the paragraph so quickly. Okay, look at this one now. Cats are notorious for doing this. First he talked about cats and I believe he's going to talk about dogs also. So yeah, look at this. Now then he talks about dogs, however, are quite popular and can be as troublesome. Pets should be kept out of the bedroom and groomed frequently to remove the fur particles. One has to use vacuum cleaners as the ordinary broom. And mop are not effective. When the ordinary broom and mop are not effective. Now there is a change of the paragraph. So this was our first part till here. Molds, fungi and several other microorganisms. Now he's going to talk about these microorganisms, right? House dust mites are done. Thrive in damp condition. So that is the reason we need to keep our rooms and spaces good, ventilated very well. So they thrive in the damp. Jahan pe moisture zyada hota hai, that place is known as damp. So can lead to allergies and infection. Humidifiers, the air conditioning plants provide an ideal environment for certain types of bacteria and have led to major outbreaks of pneumonia. So this is important to regular. It should be it is, not his. Let me correct it. It is. Right? I hope the screen is visible to you all. So it is important to regularly clean the coolers, air conditioner and damp areas of the house such as cupboards, lofts, etc. Toxic gases. A change of thought again. He talked about the HDM first, then he talked about the molds and the fungi, and now he's talking about toxic gases. So we are talking about air pollution here, right? That is, and we are giving different examples that can cause air pollution. So toxic gases can also pollute the indoor environment. Biomass fuels like wood, cow dung, dried plants and coal, if burned inside, can lead to severe contamination by carbon monoxide. So these biomasses, which are commonly conventionally used in the rural houses and in common houses, they all use these you can say sources for their fuel. So the poor quality of stoves and other cooking or heating appliances that cause incomplete combustion of LPG, it can also be a cause of house or air pollution. And this particular gas can be released from adhesives. Adhesives are the liquids, you can say, that we use. The adhesives are basically the liquids that you use to attach to things, like Fevicol. Like Fevicol is an adhesive. So the adhesives that are used for mixing carpets, fixing carpets and upholstery. Upholstery is the cover of the sofa, and also in making plywood and particle boards. And this can also be a cause of the house dust or dangerous gases. Right, so let us see. Yes, Aryan, you're absolutely right. You will get 3 types of passages. I believe one is literary, one is fictitious, the other one narrative, if I remember. So when it's going to be literary, it will be a piece from the literature. If it's narrative, it will be in a story type of form. If it is factual, it will be simply based on facts. To give you an example, if they talk about the demonetization and give you the facts how much the economy has dropped, that will be a factual passage, right? Yes, Shivangi, hello. I hope you all listened to me carefully while explaining the passage. Now let us see who's going to answer this one. Choose the correct answer from options given below and complete the following sentence. This is the first type that I was talking about, fill in the blank type. So let us read the sentence. From the passage, we can easily state that home dust mites are very what? Let us see who's going to answer this one. This is a fill in the blank question. You have to pick one answer. It's fact based. Okay, I can see the first response, D. Very nice, understandable, but look at this thing. I told you, you have to maintain the grammatical structure of the sentence. Are very has already been used. So can we use are very again? That would distort the sense of the sentence, the grammatical sense. Otherwise, this is factually right that they're very small and they cannot be seen by the naked eye. Only because of the repetition of are very, we will go with option C, that they are very dangerous. I hope it's clear. I can see all of you are answering D, which is very understandable. But whenever it's a fill in the blank question, students, you have to look at the grammatical sense, that the grammatical structure should not be, distorted. So answer yes, Abhijit, absolutely right. Moving on to the next question. After reading the passage, what do you think should be the priority of the local administration like the village panchayats and the city municipalities? Choose the correct answer from the options. This is how you will exactly see the questions in the exam, because last year in all the 3 slots, all the 6 passages was like this only. Let us see who's going to answer this one. Yeah, Krishna, very funny. Now try answering this one. So what should the local administration do to get rid of this indoor air pollution? Should they address the causes of pollution to protect the local communities, work with USA on global climate action plan, request the Nordic countries to prevent their lumberjacks from cutting trees, or turn a blind eye towards pollution? This is completely against the passage, what the author was talking about. Rather, he was saying we should take indoor pollution seriously. So we cannot turn a blind eye to it. Okay, Shivangi is saying A, Ryu, Krishna, very good. Yes, absolutely right. So when the passage was not talking about any one country, locality or state, why would we mention USA or the Nordic countries, right? So answer is first one. Very good. Moving on to the next one. Choose the correct answer from the option given below and complete the following sentence. Indoor air pollution is critically harmful for us because of what? Look at the grammatical sense, try to complete the sentence. Even if you don't revisit the passage to answer these factual questions, you can still answer it, right? By looking at the grammatical sense. If you've read the passage carefully, you will be able to answer it. Let us see who's going to answer this one. D, and there we go, our first correct answer. Very nice. Yes, Shivangi, Ryu, Krishna, absolutely right. Aryan, yes, it should be this one. We spend over 90% of our times in our home or in the offices. So that is the reason we should take it seriously, the indoor pollution. So we cannot say there is no indoor pollution when the whole passage was talking about it. We are never indoor. That is not true. The door in our houses are useless against intruders. Why are we talking about intruders? The passage was not about the intruders. So you can clearly see. And literally, trust me, this was the level of the passages last year. I don't know if this year they will increase the level or not, which I believe they should. But last year, this was the exact level of the questions. Choose the correct answer from the options given below and complete the following sentence. The passage tells us that molds, fungi and several other harmful microorganisms thrive in which kind of condition do they thrive in? Answer this one quickly. Absolutely right. Yes, all of you. Damp and moist conditions. So the well ventilated places, they won't thrive in those places. The next one. Again a fill in the blank question. From the passage, we can assume that indoor air pollution is caused by the toxicity of what? Is it freshwater fish? Did we even talk about fish in the passage? Biomass fuels, that is conventional fuel in rural areas. Is it despondency? Despondency is a state of being sad and aimless, you can say, basically. So despondency was not discussed in the passage. Incessant rainfall. Rainfall is outside, you are indoor, it won't affect you. So only answer, the probable answer here will be B. Right? And moving on to the last question, which is match the following type of question. As you can see, half part of the sentence is given here, the other half is this side. You simply have to match it and complete it. Right, let us have a look at it. Poor combustion of LPG does what? Are a source of biomass fuels. Houses can prevent the growth of harmful fungi. This is about LPG, we will not talk about fungi. Cause many allergies, lead to toxic emission of the carbon monoxide. Was it not already given in the passage that poor combustion of LPG causes release of carbon dioxide or emission of carbon dioxide? Cow dung and dried plants are a source of biomass fuel that people use to lit their stoves, you can say, in villages, in rural areas. Absolutely right, Krishna, yes. Adorable pet dogs can cause many allergies, and regular cleaning of our houses can prevent the growth of harmful fungi. Alright, Aryan, I got your point. If you want, we can come up with more difficult passages also in the next class. So let us see which answer do we go with. So we will go with the third one. Fourth for A, first for B, third for C. For D, it should be the second one. Let us now start a new passage. Quickly go through this one. It's a wonderful passage. You will love reading it, and you may, inculcate a thing or two from here and there from this passage in your life. Let me discuss this passage with you. How to approach this passage? The art of living is learnt easily by those who are positive and optimistic. So he is going to talk about and tell us how should you live. What is the art of living? So art of living, you can say, can be our title. From the humble and simple people to great leaders in history, science or literature, we can learn a lot about the art of living by having a peep into their lives and their lifestyles. So one thing is clear, he is not going to either talk about the historians or the artists, he is going to talk about all of them. So his focus is not only on the great writers or the artist, he is going to talk about all of them because he wants to stress upon what? That you can bring in a lot of changes in your life, you can lead a happy standard, or you can say art of living is something that you can learn from these people. People from the humble background to the greatest kind of people who've achieved a lot in their life. The daily routines of these greats not only reveal their different, many maybe unique lifestyle, but help us learn certain habits and practices they followed. So here are some. Read and enjoy and follow in their footsteps as it suits you. So they all don't follow identical, you can say, lifestyle. They all have different lifestyle. Whatever made them feel good, made them more efficient in their work, they would follow that particular lifestyle. Now look at this. Now what is he going to do? He will, everything important or the main idea has already been given to you in these few lines. Now he will give you a lot of example of writers, of artists, of composers, of a pianist and everyone. So Jane Austen was a writer, asked that a certain squeaky hinge should never be oiled so that she always had a warning whenever someone was approaching the room where she wrote. So she believed that the door should never be repaired or never be oiled because that creaky sound will warn her that someone is coming. William Faulkner, lacking a lock on his study door, detached the doorknob and brought it into the room with him, right? Because he did not want to be disturbed, or he did not want anyone to knock at the door. So then they talk about Mark Twain's family knew better than to breach his study door. They would blow a horn to draw him out. So they would not enter into his study room. Rather, they would raise an alarm from outside only so that whenever he is free, he can come out. After all, every one of us needs a workplace where we can work on our creation uninterruptedly. Equally, we need our private spaces also. Then he goes on to give example of Charles Dickens, how he famously took 3 walks. Now, before this, he was talking about a private space where you can work undisturbed. Now he's talking about walking. 3 walks an afternoon, and what he observed on them fed directly for his writing. So we all know that Charles Dickens is one of the greatest novelists. Where did he draw inspiration from? From his walk. So he would walk thrice a day. Whatever he saw happening around him were inspiration for him to write better. So he's given ample examples here. So Ludwig example, Beethoven's example he has given. He was a great pianist. Took lengthy stroll. Stroll is walking. After lunch, carrying a pencil and a paper with him in case inspiration struck. So look at the dedication. So 19th century composer Erik Satie did the same on his long hikes from Paris to the working class suburb. So all the examples. Simone's example is given here, that there were no reception parties that she would attend because she wanted to work uninterrupted. She did not want to clutter her mind with a lot of things going to the parties and everything. So the routines of these thinkers are difficult. Perhaps it is because they are so unattainable. The very idea that you can organize your time as you is out of the reach for most of us, but it's not difficult. So clearly author is very optimistic about it, that you can learn the art of living, though we feel it's difficult, but taking a thing or two from here and there can help you a lot. So then they have given example of T.S. Eliot also, who found it much easier to write once he had a day job in the bank than he had as a starving poet. So he would work in the day, write in the night. Right. So did you see that? Though the passage was lengthy, though there were difficult names in the passage, but now you will see actually you don't have to remember all that. It's just that you have to understand it, that author is trying to teach us that we can learn art of living. Then he goes on to give you different example of great personalities. Let us approach the questions now. Choose the correct answer from the option given below. Why do many artists and creative minds go for daily walks? So what is the reason behind it? Why do these people used to go for lengthy walks? Wonderful, Ryu. For match the following, you've given the complete answer. Very nice. Okay, yes, Krishna, Ryu, absolutely right. It is for the inspiration. It was not to avoid the intruders. The intruder example was given in relevance to only one artist. That was again further to reinforce the idea. That wasn't the main idea. The next one. Choose the correct answer from the option given below and complete the following sentences. So fill in the blank. We may learn many valuable lessons from. Should we learn the valuable lesson only from the great achievers? Is that what he said? From humble and simple people to great leaders, men who create history. He did not only talk about the historians. Did he only talk about the poets and the saints? Again, falling for these options is not right. We will go with the general one, which justifies the whole paragraph. Answer is, let us see who's going to answer this one. Answer should be second one, that humble and simple people to the great personality. Wherever you find the routine is inspirational for you, you can you can follow it, imitate it. Absolutely right, Abhijit. Let us see if you can answer this one. Choose the correct answer from the option given below. The notion of a private workplace should ideally mean what? Is it a place where we entertain our colleagues' homework? Why would we do our colleagues' homework? So these are the points you can clearly see. These are not the facts that were given in the passage. So clearly, answer for this one is a place of contact where we can work best without either being disturbed by others or feeling distracted. So B is the right answer for this one. The next one. From the passage, it may be concluded that the expression art of living means what? Now this I would call a critical reasoning type of question. You won't find a direct answer for this one. If you have understood the whole paragraph, only then will you be able to answer it. So I am waiting for your response for this one. This is a nice question. What does art of living mean? What can you infer from the passage? Author gave you so many examples to explain art of living. Yes, everyone, answer this one. Ryu, Krishna, Abhijit. D. To fill our homes. Is it D? Seriously, Abhijit? Read the question carefully. What is art of living? It's not about the artistic value that we should put a lot of artifacts in our house. It was about leading a healthy, wholesome, happy way of living. That is what the art of living is. So here, art of living, you don't take it literally like he's keeping artifacts and he's decorating the home. It was the way you should live your life, lead your life. The next one. Choose the correct answer from the option. This is again sentence completion. Let's read it from here. From the passage, it becomes clear that all thinkers and creative minds dash. Do they follow identical routine? Now this is a factual question. Do they hide their roster, follow different routines, or never have any routine? So I showed you, I underlined it. The answer for this one is they follow different routines. They don't follow identical routine. Had they followed identical routine, what made them different from the rest of the people, right? So they had their own ways and their own, you can say, routine. Yes, absolutely right. Ryu, Palak, Abhijit, Krishna, very good. So this is the last question for today. Try answering this one. Match the following. Complete the sentences by matching them with column 1 and column 2. So art of living emanates what? So where does the art of living come from? It comes from a positive attitude. Mark Twain is often an at-home day to work without interruption. What should be the answer for this one? So this is a very easy one. To work without interruption, we need a private workplace. Sunday is often an at-home day. So I am sorry that I had to skip through the passage so quickly. I don't know if you were able to read it. So in the passage, there was a line about Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda used to consider Sunday as an at-home day. All the questions are factual. You will find all the answer within the passage itself. So we are only left with one, Mark Twain. So it goes with this one. He disliked his family breaking the privacy of his study room. You remember Mark Twain's family, they would raise an alarm rather than come into his room, breach his room. Right? So answer for this one should be, I guess, the fourth one. Yeah, the fourth one. So that was all for today. All the very, very best for your preparation, and I think now you're gonna do really good with the RCs. There will be 18 questions of RC, which is a lot. So try practicing these questions. I know grammar, again, there are a lot of rules. For vocabulary, there are a lot of words. But for RCs, you can definitely score all the 18 questions. I hope this video was useful for you. If there are any suggestion, anything that you are struggling with, any topic, I would like to take up that topic in the next live. So again, I am reminding you, tomorrow we're going to be live from 7 to 8. I will have an interactive session. There is any question that you have or you want to have that kind of interaction, I will personally take all your questions. So do not forget to join that BBKP on Hitbullseye CUET YouTube site. I will be there live on 7 p.m. 7 to 8. Alright everyone, thank you so much. Keep smiling, keep shining, and always believe in yourself.